Hello, I'm Claire Best, and I'm going to take you through today a presentation on turning interest into action. So how do we make sure that those inquiries that you spend time getting into your business actually convert into sales? I'm Claire Best, and I spent over 20 years in big brand marketing with companies like John Lewis and Prudential before setting up Claire Best Marketing 10 years ago. Now I help ambitious SMEs bring the same clarity and confidence to their marketing. Because marketing doesn't have to be complicated. It's about being clear, consistent, and focused on what really works. So let's look at today's session. We're going to look at ways to fix that leaky bucket. For me, it's not all about more leads. We may want to get more leads eventually, but actually what we need to do is to make sure we're making the most of the leads we already have. We need to fix those holes where those leads are coming out, where that water is coming from that bucket. Of course, we're never going to convert all inquiries, but let's do what we can to fix the leaky bucket before we start pouring more water in. This presentation is going to give you 5 actions that you can take now to improve your conversion rates. As I said, you don't always need more leads to make the most of the ones you've got. I'm going to take you through 5 practical shifts that help you move the conversion dial and make sure we're making the most of the inquiries you already have. Let's dive straight in. So the first simple action that immediately improves conversion is understanding where your leads come from. This one is easy and quick and gives you clarity before you change anything in your marketing, because you can't improve conversion unless you know where your inquiries are actually coming from. Yet most businesses don't track this properly. They focus on generating more inquiries without understanding the ones that they already have. When I start working with clients, this is usually one of the first things that we fix. We find out what's working, and most importantly, we stop wasting time on things that aren't. So what I would ask you to do is to track every inquiry, your website, Google search, Google business profile, networking, what's happening with networking, who have you met, repeat clients, social media, referrals. Just a simple note, even a spreadsheet is fine, because it's not about complex analytics. Most people discover that their best inquiries come from 2 or 3 places, not the channels they've been spending all their energy on. So your quick win here, your action, is to look at your last 10 inquiries. Where did they come from? Which ones converted? Because this alone will tell you where to focus and where to stop wasting your time. And once you know which inquiries convert best, the next step is to understanding why they convert and then how to attract more of that type. So let's move on to the second action. This next action is simple but can make a huge difference to your conversion rates. Let's think about this. If someone has made it all the way to your website, they're already interested. That's what we class as a warm lead. Your job now is to take them to the next step, but many websites make customers hunt for what that next step should be. They fail because the call to actions, for example, are vague. We've all seen it, we've all been guilty of it. Learn more, get in touch, contact us. They don't tell people what to do or what they'll get, but clear calls to action can change everything. I'm talking here like things like book a call or request a quote. Someone should know exactly what will happen when they click as well. So as well as being really clear on your call to action, add a short line underneath telling them what's going to happen next. For example, book a call and then you choose a time that works for you and I'll send you a quick confirmation, or request a quote. We'll come back to you within 24 hours with a clear breakdown. It removes uncertainty, and what we do know is uncertainty does kill conversion. And finally, keep it simple. Create one call to action per page. If a page gives a customer too much choice, then they won't pick anything. If your goal is booking a call, then everything should be about booking a call. If your goal is a quote, to get a quote, then everything should be about getting someone to get a quote. This is one of the fastest ways to increase conversion, and you can do it today. Just review your main page and choose the one action you want people to take. These small actions are where conversion actually improves. So for this action, what I'd like you to do is to look at your homepage and audit it. Is it really clear in 5 seconds how the visitor can act? And is that what you really want them to do? So pick the action you want them to take, book a call, request a quote, download a guide, and make that the focus of your page. Everything else is secondary. This next action is simple, but again can make a really big difference. Most lost sales don't happen because someone chose a competitor. They happen because there was silence after you sent the quote out. People get busy. We know that life happens and they forget. So what we need to be able to do is to give them a gentle nudge, and that's generally what's needed. I recommend a very simple structure. I've suggested here a follow-up of 48 hours and then again a week later. That might not be totally relevant for your business and your processes, so pick a time scale that works for you. And remember not to be pushy and salesy, just be friendly and human. I'm just checking in to see that whatever you sent them had reached them, or do you have any questions? Or I've recently received this, which I thought might be quite useful on top of what I've already sent you. Be helpful. The other thing that I would look at doing is try and automate as much of this as possible. That can be as simple as a template on an email, so you don't have to keep writing the same email, but ideally will be where you can set calendars on your reminders on your calendar, or indeed where you can use a CRM system so everything is automated. Because we all know we get busy, and if things are done for us or set up as reminders or prompts, then we know we're much more likely to do them. The other thing that happens here is if we follow up consistently, we know that consistency will build conversions. Small consistency will create big conversion improvements. And that's what simple follow-up needs to be. So your action here is straightforward. Write a follow-up email that you can personalize. Create your first template, if you haven't already done, that you can use. It will save you time and it will win you work. Now, I would say this fourth action is probably the trickiest one. When someone says to you, you're more expensive, they generally don't mean you're more expensive. They generally mean, I don't yet see the difference. What makes you different to other people that I'm potentially comparing prices on? So this action is all about helping your clients understand why your price makes sense. Because clients rarely choose the cheapest option, they choose the clearest, the one that helps them see the value quickly. So when someone pushes back on prices, almost always because the value isn't obvious, not because the price is wrong. But this is great news for us because it means that we can learn to communicate value better. So what I think we need to look at here is linking your price directly to what that client gets. Those outcomes. Is it time saved? Is it peace of mind? Is it professional expertise? Maybe you're helping them to make better decisions or reduce the risk. But be really clear, what are the outcomes that you are helping them with? Because these are the things that people actually buy. And make it even easier for them. Add a short why choose us after your quotes, after your, in your website. Something honest and benefits led. So it doesn't have to be a full sales pitch. In fact, actually, the shorter you can make it, the better. But here's an example. Our surveys include an estimated repair cost, giving you the confidence to negotiate. It's short, clear, and practical, and immediately shows the value. And that's the action for you. See if you can write one sentence linking your price to client value. The final action is all about confidence, because people buy when they feel confident. And confidence comes from proof, not claims, not descriptions, but proof. So we need to reassure people that they are making the right decision. When someone is about to take action, book a call, request a quote, make a purchase, they want the reassurance that you're the right person. And that's why adding proof with call to actions makes such a difference. So what do I mean by proof? I'm talking a testimonial, a client photo, before and after images, maybe an accreditation or an award, or a partnership logo. It doesn't have to be big, but it does have to be where decisions are going to happen. One thing that I see a lot of businesses do is hiding all their testimonials on a separate page on their website. But I don't really agree with this because it requires the customer to go hunting for the proof. We need to make sure it's really easy and obvious for that customer. A tiny bit of reassurance at the right moment can completely shift someone's conversion because it reduces the doubt, it reduces the risk, and it also builds trust instantly. So your action here is to add one form of proof near every call to action. It could be as simple as just a one-liner as a part of a testimonial, but in the right place, that can make a huge difference. So let's now look and recap on those 5 practical shifts. It's about knowing where your inquiries are coming from so you can focus on the ones that are actually changing into sales and stop wasting time on the ones that aren't bringing you anything. It's about being really clear with your customers what the next step you want them to take is so it's easy for them to follow it. It's about creating a consistent follow-up with your inquiries, which helps you to do that and implement that on a regular basis, whether that's templates, CRM system, calendar, follow-ups. It's about being clear on your value, not just talking about price, talking about those outcomes. What do you deliver for that customer? And it's about reinforcing price and reassuring people. We've obviously covered a lot today, and hopefully you've spotted a few small changes that could make a big difference in how you convert your inquiries. If you'd like to go one step further, I've created a free resource to handle those tricky price conversations with confidence. My Handling Price Objections guide is all about moving from price questions to value conversations with your customers. And inside you'll find examples, phrasing ideas, tips that you can use straight away to shift that conversation away from price and cost and onto value. You know, we've all had those clients that say that sounds too expensive or I've had a cheaper quote. But this guide hopefully will help you to turn those price conversations around and talk about value so that you can win those clients without, most importantly, reducing your price. You can download it using the QR code here or contact me directly and I can send you one. I guess that's your final action in terms of from this presentation, to download the guide today and see what you can do to move your conversation from price to value. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope you're leaving with at least one practical action you can take straight away. Remember that small, consistent improvements are what turns the dial and moves us from inquiries turning into sales. If you would like some extra support, there's obviously my free guide on handling price objections that you can download. In addition, if you'd like to talk specifically about your own marketing and your conversion process, you can book a growth kickstart call with me, where we'll take a quick look at what's working, where the gaps are, and there are 2 or 3 quick wins that you can put into place, actions you can put into place straight away. I'd obviously love to connect with you, and you've got my email and my website here, or you can find me on LinkedIn. So my final question to you is, what ideas have you got today that are going to make the biggest difference to your conversion in your business? Thank you very much for your time.